Hey guys, it's Silvana Kozak here and welcome to Purpose Driven Interview. And I'm super excited because I'm here with Frank J. Porcaro and we are in San Diego. We managed to meet today so I can ask him about his journey about creating purpose-driven career and purpose-driven business. So just to let you know, guys, Frank is an amazing human being and he's an international speaker and coach, as well as the co-founder of an advanced communication retreat company called International Tribe Design. Frank's specialty is in facilitating personal transformation and guiding people to find their inner peace and power on their path to success. So Frank, thank you so much for meeting me. I'm really excited about this interview and you sharing your journey.
Thank you.
So first of all, if you could share with us from your own perspective, because this was a beautiful description of what you do, but how does it feel to do what you do?
It feels like that.
Oh, we have a sunset, guys. Can you see?
Can see that sun.
That sunset here. Yes, we managed to catch a sunset.
Oh my gosh. It's just right
beautiful.
below the cloud. It feels like that. It feels so connected. Like I feel so connected to who I am, to the Creator, and I feel so connected to my path in life. And for that, I'm so grateful because I can't imagine living life in any other way.
Mm-hmm. So when you do what you do, which is
I facilitate transformation. So people come to me that are seeking a personal transformation, and typically it's in their communication and their relationships. And that's what the retreat company is all about. International Tribe Design is really articulating your emotions, processing traumas, and or performance in business. Someone that's having a lot of stress and can't seem to shake it off, and they're looking for the edge. And or in their connection, their spiritual connection and personal development. I sort of like the idea of being holistically successful, holistically developed, not just successful in finances or not just successful in one area, but just like becoming a developed, holistic being. So I offer inner developments for that and how somebody can step up into the best version of themselves.
That's amazing. So when you do that, how does it feel when you do exactly what you just said?
Feels so good.
Okay. It feels so good.
It feels so good. I mean, I feel like the other day I was on the phone with a client. On the phone like this, she was on the other side of the country, and I was just on my phone, and I was able to just create a space for her to mirror some of the things that she's going through, and she broke through. I mean, tears and then laughs and then celebration and then complete clarity on who she is and where she's going, and just to be a vessel for, I believe, Spirit to speak through me is such an honor. And I take this craft and my path very seriously. And so
when did it
it's an honor.
start? So if we can move few steps backward and if you can tell us about your journey. So what was this most deciding moment in your career when you started everything, when you started serving so many people all over the world in transforming their life? When did it start for you?
Yeah, it's interesting because when you were saying this, I was thinking like it wasn't just one moment, it was a constant decisioning. It was a consistent decision every single day to say, I'm going to get up and I'm going to continue to surrender. So it really started, I grew up, my father left when I was a baby, and what I know is that he got into like heroin and drugs, and I stopped seeing him when I was 10. And my mother had to work 3 jobs, take care of 3 kids, and had a lot of stress. I can't even imagine the trauma that she had to experience, and I still don't know. But it was a very stressful childhood. And, growing up, I was angry. Some would call me like a dysfunctional juvenile teenager, like in and out of jail, fighting, doing drugs, going down the wrong path. I mean, I did play sports, which kept me somewhat focused. But at 18, I graduated high school. I barely graduated high school. I'm really happy that I did. And I got a job in a nursing home. And in that nursing home, I witnessed people on their deathbed regretting their life. My job was to go in the rooms and to take them and bring them down to therapy. And I would sit there because I was feeling anxious, depressed. All my friends moved away to college. I felt so distant from my family. I felt so alone. And I was so confused, and I was having panic attacks. I'm not sure if you had anxiety to the point of like panic. So I was really confused. And I asked the people on their deathbed, what would you do if you were young again? What would you do if you were my age? And they would say, I would travel the world. I would have more fun. I would get more developed and skilled and, provide more for my family and show them how much I cared about them. I would forgive the ones that I really care about that I never got the chance to forgive because they already passed and now they're about to die as well. And it just blew my mind to see that people on their deathbed were regretting their life. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, I don't know anyone that's genuinely actually happy. Like, I just don't know anybody.
That's good.
And if I don't take personal responsibility for my life, then nothing's going to change. And I couldn't bear the thought of life not changing. So, again, I surrendered. I felt an inkling inside of me, which I imagine some of you that are listening, you have an inkling inside of you that there's something more, there's something deeper, there's a meaning to this all. And it may not make sense. It did not make sense to me. I didn't know what motivational speaking was. I didn't know what personal development was. I didn't even know about philosophy. I just had this inkling is the best way to describe it, that there has to be something more than this stress and struggle and misery.
Oh my goodness, this is so familiar.
There has to be something more.
Yes.
And I was just like, there have been many nights where I've cried and screamed to the sky and prayed to a God that I didn't know. And I was just so ready to do anything and everything to change my life. And that willingness that I was going to do anything and everything or else I was going to die. This is what I associated in my head. Not mean like die. I felt like I died. In fact, I felt like I died to the old part of myself. And that was very scary. And I imagine some of you that are on your quest, you're going to have to die to an old part of yourself, an old rhythm, an old story as well to get to the next level. But when I was dying to that old self, I felt so alone. And it took me to great places.
So when you were
It was a journey though.
Exactly. When you were in that point, when you were crying, when you didn't know, but you knew that there is something more, something bigger within you, you didn't have all the answers, right?
No.
So what was your thought process back then? Can you recall that?
I'll do my best to recall it. I still don't have much sense of it all. It was more so just like, my thought process was that if I don't take personal responsibility, then I'm going to end up miserable like everyone I know, everyone I see, and then people on their deathbed, I'm going to regret my life. I couldn't bear that thought. So if you want to look back on your life and say, what would you regret not doing? And then I imagine it was something like, I did feel, if I was going to be completely honest, that I felt like I was suffering with anxiety and images and thoughts and like almost like a darkness in a way. And I felt like there had to be something strong, like a higher force, a higher power. And at the time that presented itself, I started to just surrender that I believe in something more than myself. And I remember getting a book as I was seeking called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle.
Yes, I know this book very good.
And one of the first chapters is You Are Not Your Mind.
Yes.
And it gave me chills because I was already making that observation. Like, these thoughts, I don't believe my thoughts, but who am I and what are my thoughts? I thought my thoughts are me. And I started to increase awareness. Like, if you're going through depression or anxiety, what's a gift that it's offering you is that you can become acutely aware and realize how silly these thoughts are, how not all the thoughts that we think are actually our thoughts.
Yes, amen to that. Wow.
And so when I started to see, like, I don't believe my thoughts, I'm like, wait a second.
Yes.
Then I can recondition how I think. So that's what I did. I started to go on a process of unlearning and relearning how to function, how to think. Instead of dwelling on my past or buying into a future fantasy, I started to create my life.